Hello everyone, it's Thousand Suns release day and we've done a trifecta of videos on my favourite Legion. I have a Warplane Thrall band, which, I'm very excited to have this. And I'm not going to go through unboxing it because, hey, all the models are on the front and you see what they are. Sorcerers on disc. Interesting, you've got the Scarabacle, you've got a real solid addition to your combat patrol here. What I am interested in is these boys. So let's build up, talk about, and paint some Sekhetar robots. So we know them and love them or hate them or whatever it is, but I always reserve my judgment until I get the miniatures in hand, and that is exactly what we're going to do. So let's have a look and see what they're all about. There's lots of flowy capes. Okay, so obviously this is showing you they are going to be a 2-model unit box, I would imagine. There are a few different options. I'm going to build both options just because I'm not overly competitive and I just want the difference, I think. And then I'll build 2 again, so I can have 2 units that do essentially around the same. Yeah, or maybe 1 toolbox unit, I don't know. But for now, let's get our safe cutting surface out so we don't damage the table. And let's build us up a robot and then we'll give him an undercoat and we'll do some painting. Okay, so starting to paint, we have our range of usual suspects. We're going to use Holy White as a base over the entire miniature, then 2 thin coats and an entire range of them, which we'll go through as we go. And then I'm excited to try Turbo Dork Colour Shift. Never used it before, and it's available in store now, and we're going to see how we get on with it. I'm using a Citadel layer brush for the majority of the wet work here. It's a solid brush and it comes to a nice point. So we're covering the entire miniature in our white speed paint. Now you could easily use a contrast here. You don't need to use Army Painter or Citadel, choice is yours. I'm going over the entire miniature, it's adding a layer of shade, and as you can see, he's going to really sort of tick that white off. Armour next. 2 thin coats is always a paint I go for, strongly use it in every project. Water it down slightly. And then just going over the metallics. It's as easy as just blocking in here. When you start this off, particularly on a white base, you might think, oh wow, this isn't doing anything. But persevere, take your time, and just get a good covering. Dragon's Gold, same principle, it's metallic. Yes, you can water metallics down, just a dab of water does a real great to the flow of the paint. And I'm picking out things like sort of ornate details here on the loincloth. Anything that'll have like the eye of Tzeentch is sort of embedded into it, and then I'm also going to pick out things like the knee pads and other areas that I just think make the miniature pop. There we are, he is beginning to look a bit more robotic. We're going to add in our blacks now. Now we're hitting all of the cables. Any areas I want to use the colour shift paint on as well need to have a really nice fine coat of black. And I'm going in between the ornate detail on his armour and his chest, and then I'm going to make sure that that's a really sort of nice smooth covering with 2 thin coats. After doing that, I'm hitting the cloak. Royal Cloak is a good cloak colour. I'm going to block that in, and then I'm going to highlight it over with Sorcerer's Cloak at a later stage. It's shade time. Now we're hitting everything with the sepia wash from Tooth and Coats. All of the areas of metallic are getting a dark tone. Now don't be afraid to use these washes. Try experiment with them. They are great, but make sure you give them a good shake. The sepia wash over gold makes it really pop on straight away. Really sort of brings out those gold areas, ready for a base highlight later on. What I'm doing here is painting using the standard method to base it, shade it, and then highlight it back up. Starting to look like a table ready miniature. Washes do a load of work. White, we're going to highlight back up the armour, and then we're going to pick out any little dots that we want to glow. Essentially this is take your time, pick out your edges, and just really make sure you've got a tip on your brush. But take your time on this stage, there's no rush. Continuing our highlighting progress on the cloak. Tooth and Coats is great because they're a trio of paints. We're going to use two of them here, but they give you a dark, a mid and a highlight colour for every spectrum. So essentially on here, I'm using my highlight to just make that pop. And it's a quick job, but it does it and it works. Same principle with the metallics here, but I'm using the original colours to highlight the main point where the light would catch and just sort of bring the sparkle back to it after a downwards wash. Starting to come together, starting to look like a completed miniature. So, that's what our next stage is. We've got the pipes in the back and they're a bit messy and scruffy, but what I'm going to do, I'm using grey and I'm going to start to go over that and just really sort of quite heavily highlight this, and then I'm going to wash it back down briefly. Really quick and easy way of doing pipes, guys, that. Next thing, Elixir Green. I love this. Third wave of Tooth and Coats. Give it a good shake, and I'm going to make him glow from the inside, because my idea, these robots are controlled by like a magical power, so I want it to shine through. Okay, it's a hobby first for me now, and we're using a colour shift paint. Now the idea of this, it's like a pearlescent coating gel is probably the best way of putting it, and which angle you look at, you're either going to get a pink through to a green through a blue, which I think is going to work really well with Tzeentch, but it works over a black base. So I'm now going in and making sure all those black out points in the armour, you can see it working already there. It's really sort of going to pop. I am super happy with the results here, and I'll certainly be trying these paints more. No miniature is complete without the base. I'm using good old technical Armageddon dust from Citadel here. It's texture paint, which essentially is sand and paint mixed together. So what we're going to do is we're going to daub it onto the top of the base and leaving big texture. So it's use a knackered old brush here, because your brush will die. Just daub it on and just move it around until you're happy with it. Easy as that. It's tough time, and what I'm doing, I'm using a pair of tweezers and I'm going to apply it directly into the Armageddon dust. That should anchor it to the base and sort of set quite well, and it allows you to sort of bury the tuft a little bit for a more realistic view. Good to your heart's desire. You don't need masses of tufts, you want to still see some of that area beneath. Black around the base, I always do this, it just neatens everything up at the end. Well, we say end, so we're going to try something new. So we're going to use a bit of white scar, and then we're going to use some turquoise wash from Two Thin Coats, because I want the ground to look as if Tzeentch is impacting it a bit, and just something a bit different really, make it stand out from our other armies. So I'm just going to use a bit of white on the top first of all, and then I'm going to wash it with turquoise to give it a magical finish. The finished miniature is done. He's ready to spread change in the name of Tzeentch. Hope you've enjoyed it, guys. Painting tutorial for you on release day. Stay safe, stay well, and happy hobbying.